Okay, this is another video in the Intro to FPV playlist that I'm going to do. Surprisingly, there needs to be a whole separate playlist just to go over FPV because there's a lot to it. The first video was going over the goggles that we supply. So now I kind of wanted to touch on some other topics related to FPV. First, I'm going to go into the FPV frequency reference chart. So as you've noticed, or maybe you haven't, the FPV signal, first person view signal, is sent out over the 5.8 gigahertz megahertz band, and so therefore, the technology is analog based. So imagine the old day TVs with the rabbit ear antennas and the flickering and the ghosting images and the static and all that really fun stuff that went along with old-timey TV. Well, when everything went digital, analog became available, and so that's what FPV is a result of. So what you see here in front of you are the different bands that are used, along with some new things. A, B, E, F, and R are your analog bands. Those are what you will see on the Micro Scout that we sell, as well as the Cobra Racer. Now, Shark Bite, the S, that is a new digital technology that is being put out by a company called Fat Shark. They're a US-based company. And the benefits to digital is you don't have the static and breakup and issues that you do with analog. The downside to digital is the price point, because it is a new technology. It is still on the expensive side. And then same for D and J, if you see in the light blue there. DJI has also released an FPV system that is high def, and it can have up to 8 pilots in the air for it as well. The downside, again, like I said, is that it's more expensive. But if that is something that you guys are interested in, please inquire. We have built several DJI systems, FPV systems already, and we can definitely accommodate. But I will keep this primarily focused around analog, since that is what we are providing with our Scout and Cobra drones. The majority that we send out, let me backtrack. In the beginning, we sent out the racers and the micros on Fat Shark, which is the F and Fat Shark / immersion band right here. And the first thing that you should notice is that they are tightly packed. They are not very spread out. So what I was going to tell people whenever they got their Fat Shark racers was to alternate. Don't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, don't do them all together. Don't fly everybody together. Alternate them. Fly like 1 and 3 and maybe 7 and 5, or 1 and 3 and 4 and 6, or 1 and 3 and 6 and 8, or something like that. Because the more distance that you can put between you and the other person and what their frequency is tuned into, the more separation that you can provide, the better video quality you're going to have. So then uh, we made a switch, and we actually moved over to putting everybody on boss cam, which is the B, which is here. Still same dilemma. They're all tightly packed, but I will get into why we made the change here shortly. I'm trying to keep the videos short, so it'll either be in this video or the next one. But basically, right now we're sending the racers and the micros out on the boss cam 1 through 8, and then when you go to fly, I would suggest alternating and only running 4 at a time, and on channels with a nice separation. Now I'm going to call your attention to this area down here. It says 4, 5, and 6 pilots. So these are suggested channels for those pilots if you're going to run, say, 4, 5, or 6 pilots. So example here, race band 1 is what it's suggesting. Race band 3 is the next one it's suggesting. Then it's suggesting Fat Shark. Well, actually, and that's just for the 4. Race band 1 and 3, and then 6 and it looks like either race band 7 or Fat Shark 8 for that row. So 4 pilots, race band 1, race band 3, race band 6, and race band 7 or Fat Shark 8. If you wanted to do 5, that's the suggestion there. I apologize. And 6. And then kind of a reasoning is here, intermodulation distortion. They found that when you have a 1, 3, 5, 7, all like that, you still wind up getting some interference. And so therefore it's a good idea to try not to pair up in a uniform manner such as this. Let's see what else. This is where we got this information from. Again, Shark Bite is Fat Shark. It is a version of digital HD FPV, first person view. Then again, D and J are the DJI numbers that you can do. It also has some good information over here about distancing, because based on the DJI goggles, the goggles transmit. As you can see, this little picture here of the guy with the head that's sending out signals. The goggles transmit, and so therefore you need to have spacing. But again, we don't, this isn't normally offered, so I'm going to try and stay away from that. Now I will move on to the channels. I mentioned that we started with Fat Shark, and then we moved over to Boss Cam. Reasoning is this right here. The video transmitter that we put out with the Cobra Racer uses the TBS Unify Pro Nano. It's this guy right here. And so this is from the user manual, but it is good information because it talks about the ham licensing and kind of how we are allowed to do FPV. First off, you have to stay 25 milliwatts and under, or at that level. If you ever go over 25 milliwatts, you're supposed to get your ham license. Also, if you look at the, it says orange, but it looks yellow to me. But the channels there say that those channels require a ham license to operate legally. The black one selections are only available on special request. Now, some VTXs don't have these locked out. Some do. So you may or may not be able to get to these, which in fact I will tell you that all of the VTXs that go out with our Cobra Racers are locked. So they are not able to get to any of these yellow/orange channels. Should not be able to. If you attempt to get to one of them, you'll have to unlock the VTX to resolve the problem, which, again, since we are not wanting you to unlock your VTXs, please contact us if you find yourself in that scenario. So, as you can see, Airwave, which is right here, that's actually Fat Shark immersion. And so they was all good except for the very last channel. On almost every VTX we've run through, 7 and 8 wind up being the exact same channel, 5880. And so when we're putting out kits and putting out large quantities of drones, we didn't want to run into this situation. So if you look at band B, all those channels are available and all those channels are allowed to be used. So that is the reason we went with the BossCam channels. These are the channels that you should be on. Now again, like I said, to stay within the allowable limits without needing a ham license, you need to stay at the 25 milliwatt power. That is what MW is, milliwatt, 25 milliwatt, and alternate into these channels here. I would not put more than 4 people in the air at a time, and I would try to space out as much as possible. The other thing I was going to talk about, let's see, we don't really need to go into this. I wanted to suggest some references about antennas. So all of our micros, all of our Cobra racers ship with a linear antenna, which is a whip antenna. When you get into group racing, you do actually, video, you're flying by video, and so video is very critical, and so you may wind up wanting to alternate direction of circular polarized antennas. A whip antenna is a linear antenna. Left and right circular polarizations give you a more 360 degree coverage, and when they alternate polarization, it gives for cleaner video signals. If you take a look at these videos here, one is from Josh Bardwell, one is from Painless 360. These are good. Both Josh Bardwell and Painless 360 are really good references on YouTube. So if there's ever something that we have not covered, those guys are definite suggested material. And then if you find that you do want to get left and right polarized antennas, you can reach out to us. I would also, I don't know how your purchasing departments work, but there are 3 main websites for items related to FPV. Get FPV is one of them. Another one is Pyrodrone. Pyrodrone is based out of California. Get FPV is in Florida. And then another one is Race Day Quads. Race Day Quads is another one. All 3 of these websites are great for materials if you ever need or think you want something that we have not provided. And then I also plan to do a video on smart audio and how to change channels within smart audio, because once changing channels and knowing what channel you're on are very important. Being able to quickly maneuver between channels is nice in a race setting. So that's why, this is something that you're going to want to get familiar with. When you fly alone, it's not exactly that big of a difference, or that big of a deal. I mean, when you're alone or when you're with another friend, y'all can go, well, let me backtrack a little bit. You should never violate ham license, like I said. But with that being said, sometimes it's possible to make those changes. If you do make those changes, please do the things that are necessary. The FAA, the way that the FAA allows FPV is by having a spotter at all times. So you should always have a spotter with you when you go fly. And then, like I said, as far as frequencies goes, the way we are able to fly without needing the ham is by following, the 25 milliwatt and staying on the channels that we're supposed to stay on. There are others that are out there, and it is possible to get in trouble. There have been retailers fined for selling video transmitters that broadcast on illegal bands. So it is important to educate yourself so that you know what you should and should not be doing. And with that being said, like I said, I will do a smart audio video, how to maneuver around in that. And then, as always, if there's something I've missed or if there's something that you would like to know more about, please comment or email. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and the web. And thank you very much.